Hola a todos! Today, or welcome to your spelling changes in the Preterite notes. Today you will be able to conjugate stem changers and double vowel verbs in the Preterite. So, let's get started. Remember that the Preterite tense is used to indicate a specific instance in the past. So we use it to indicate what you completed. We can often find the Preterite in a list of actions. I did this, I went here, I opened the thing, and I finished it. Preterite verbs usually have a clear start or a clear completion, or both. These are things that we completed. Regular AR endings in the Preterite are aste, o, amos, astes, and aron. Regular ER and IR endings are the same as each other, giving us iste, yo, imos, istes, and yeron. Now, we're familiar with the regular endings. We're also familiar with one of the weird endings. You've seen these before in your car, gar, zar verbs. These are verbs ending in kar, gar, zar, that's C-A-R, G-A-R, and Z-A-R. Yes, excellent. These guys have weird endings, but their weird ending is only in the yo form, only in the first person singular. So as examples, let's look at secar. Remember, C-A-R verbs will have a weird Q-U-E with an accent ending. Secar means to dry, fun fact. So this gives us sequé, secaste, secó, secamos, secastes, secaron. Our next weird ending is pagar. Instead of just an E ending, that's a G-U-E ending. Pagar means to pay. So I paid is pagué, you paid, pagaste, he paid, pagó, we paid, pagamos, y'all paid, pagastes, and finally, they paid is pagaron. Notice that since these are AR verbs, we are following our regular AR endings. We have aste, o, amos, astes, aron. Again, aste, o, amos, astes, aron. We're going to continue that pattern, having aste, o. Actually, I should be making these orange, shouldn't I? Aste, o, amos, astes, aron. But since we have a ZAR verb in busar, which means to dip, that ZAR is not going to be a ZE, rather that transforms into a C, E with an accent. And to fill out the rest of our verbs, we have busaste, busó, busamos, busastes, and busaron. Great. Now let's jump into your new information. You've seen stem changers before. Those are examples of stem changers are our RE stem changers, our I stem changers, and our UE stem changers. But in the preterite tense, you are only going to change IR verbs. So your AR stem changers and your ER stem changers are not going to change. And then additionally, you'll remember that in the present tense, we change our boots. We put on our stem changing boots. But we do not have stem changing boots in the preterite. In the preterite, you are only going to stem change the el form and the ellos form. So instead of wearing stem changing boots, perhaps you are wearing stem changing sandals, or maybe you're wearing stem changing ankle boots, but that might be a little confusing because you don't want to have the thu form in there. So get rid of your stem changing boots, put on your stem changing sandals because it is springtime. And let's work on repetir. Repetir looks just like what it does in English. It's to repeat. So we're going to put our IR endings, giving us repeti, repetiste. And instead of repetio, we have repitio, because our E changes to an I. Continuing on, repetimos, repetistes, and then instead of repetieron, that E changes to an I. Also, IE stem changers in the preterite do not exist. If they're normally IE stem changers, you just change them to an I. So that's exciting. Same thing. So EIs change in the preterite to I. I's change to I. And UE stem changers in the preterite only change to U. So you should keep that in mind. Okay. Dormir means to sleep. Since it is normally a UE stem changer, it's going to change to just a U in the El and Eos form, giving us dormí, dormiste, durmió, or he slept. We slept, dormimos. Y'all slept, dormistes. And they slept, durmieron. Again, we're following with our normal IR endings here. Y, iste, yo, imos, istes, hieron. We still have them down here. Y, iste, yo, imos, istes, hieron. Ta-da! That's so good. So good. Okay, so we have seen 3 kinds of preterite verbs. We've seen our regular verbs. We've seen carga usar verbs. And we've seen stem changers. There is one more exception to look at. These are our double vowel verbs. Our double vowel verbs are only going to be important in the preterite if they are ER verbs or if they are IR ending verbs. Okay. So what you want to do first is you can conjugate them normally, but when you do, apply accents to the I in the ending. And then when you're done with that, actually let's put that in blue. You'll add accents to the I's so they'll become I with accent. Nice. And then in your third person and your third person only, remember third person is your L people and your Eos people, you're going to change that I to a Y. So let's look at this as an example. We have leer, which is to read. So if we conjugate leer normally, we have leí, leíste, leyó. Sorry, I'm laughing to myself because it's wrong. Leímos, leístes, and leyeron. Oof. Guys, that is not right. But that's okay. I'm going to show you why. As you can see, we took our ER ending here on wrong tool. We took our ER ending here from leer, put our I endings, iste, yo, imos, istes, hieron, and that's great, but that's wrong. So let's apply our first step. First, go ahead and apply accents to all of the I's. Oh, that already has one. We'll just go over it anyway. Leí, leíste. Well, that's a problem. Leímos, leístes, leyeron. Well, why did we put accents here? Because remember, the Spaniards love their sounds. Just like our carga usars. The reason we changed that is because we want to maintain our k sound, se car, se que. We want to maintain the g sound, pagar, pague. We want to maintain the sound, busar, buse. Okay? Same thing down here. We want to maintain that E sound. And I is weaker. It's a weak vowel. It's not strong. It's a weak vowel. So we got to give it the extra little oomph of an accent. Leí, leíste, we'll get back to you. Leímos, leístes, leyeron. But it's not enough. Okay, here we have 3 vowels in a row, 3 vowels in a row. That is not enough oomph on our I, basically. So on our él and ellos, we're going to take that I and we're going to say, you know what? That was a valiant effort, my man. But why, though? We're going to make you a Y. So we get rid of all of our I's. We bench him and we substitute a Y. So that's a lot of fun color coding going on right there. But there you go. Okay, so again, conjugate it like normal. Put accents on all the, whoa. Put accents on all the I's. But in the third person, change that to a Y. Let's do it again with oír. So oír, we're going to conjugate it like a normal IR verb. We have oí, oíste, oyó. Ooh. That doesn't even look like a real word. Oímos. See, that says oímos. That says oístes, like oysters. And gross, that's what that says. Okay, first step, we're going to change all our accents, change all our I's to accents. Nice, giving them a little extra oomph. And then finally, in our third person, we're going to replace those I's with Y's because we made a wise choice. Oír means to hear, by the way. Ta-da! Okay, great. And now there's an exception to the exception. So I said earlier that I is a weak vowel. It's not very strong. There is one other weak vowel in Spanish, and that's a U. So when you have U and I next to each other at the end of a verb, you only need an accent on the yo and el forms. You don't need an accent anywhere else. So just put a little accent like normal. Okay. So let's conjugate it like normal again. Incluí, incluiste, incluyó, incluimos, incluistes, and finally, incluyeron. Except that's not really how we say them. Oh, by the way, incluir means to include. That's a real tricky one, I know, right? Okay, let's go back to our first steps. Apply accents to the I's. But that was our exception, only the yo and el form. So we're going to say goodbye. Oh, wait. I don't think that's right. I'm going to look that up real quick. When you form? Shoot. Guys, it's never too late to learn. Oh, okay. I remember what I was saying. The accent needs to stay on the O. Okay, there we go, because no one else has accents. That's what I meant. Okay, so we don't change the accent rule, but we do need to maintain that Y rule. So we're going to go to the el, ellos forms, el and ellos forms, and we're going to replace that I with a Y. Sweet. So we didn't change any accents. We kept them where they were at. We called it a day. Okay. So that rule applies for all UIR verbs. The accents you can cross off. They only go on the yo and il forms like they normally do. So all you need to do with UIR verbs is just change the I to a Y. Let's look at our last verb today. Bucear is a double vowel. Excellent. But check it out. Bucear. It's an AR verb. It's not an ER or IR verb. So this rule does not apply. We just conjugate bucear, which means to dive. We're going to dive right in and conjugate it like a normal AR verb with aste, o, amos, astes, and aron. Taking a root of our word, buce, and that's it. Buce, buceaste, buceo, buceamos as one word, buceastes, and bucearon. Bucearon. Ta-da! That's all of our conjugating rules. Now these are weird. These are funky. They're spelling changes. They go against the rules. So you're going to put them to practice here following this link. That'll be great. And then we'll run through these as extra little practice, a little bit review before you jump onto that link, actually. So you ready? Here we go. Okay, so sentir is an IR stem changer, giving us ella sintió. Just changing that stem right there. And then comer is regular. So we have comiste with tú. And then él mintió. Mentir is a stem changer, giving us mintió. A nosotros dormimos. It is a stem changer, but it's not in the el or ellos, so we leave it alone. Encontrar is also a stem changer, but it's an AR stem changer, so we don't change it, giving us encontraste. That's an A. La semana pasada yo un modelo de Arthuritu. Construir is a UIR verb, but it's neo so it's completely normal. The only change is in the el or ellos forms. Construí. There we go. Okay. Boba Fetch trabajó. Por trabajo de mat. That is a regular AR verb. Explicar is an AR verb, but it's a cargar. But since we're dealing with ellos, that doesn't matter, giving us explicaron. Then yo con Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I played is a cargar verb, so we have yo jugué. And then another kind of played, tocar, is to play an instrument. Toqué, I played, but we need a stem changer because it's a cargar, or not a stem changer. We need a special ending for cargar verbs. Toqué una obra de Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Johann Sebastian Bach. Okay, in case you haven't caught on, these are dog puns. Anteayer, Mary Poppins tomó una cuchara de azúcar. That's a spoonful of sugar. Él leyó with a Y because we've got that double vowel going on. Los libros de Harry Potter. Sherlock Bones concluyó. Got that double vowel going on, so we put that Y in there. That Y though. Mark Twain escribí. I can't even. Escribió is a regular IR verb. And then terminar is a regular AR verb, giving yo terminé. I completed my homework. There you have it. On your own, complete this activity. Have a wonderful time. Remember all your exceptions. And knock it out of the park.